tell you right now.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
The weather broke.
The weather broke.
I feel good.
I feel good.
I look good.
I look good.
And in case you didn't know,
In case you didn't know,
I'm in a new chapter.
you're in a new chapter.
I find
Oh yeah.
somebody else, find another partner. What's up? Grab your next and say, neighbor. Say, neighbor.
Neighbor,
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm gonna tell you.
For real.
For real.
You look good though.
You look good.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
You were strong.
You were strong.
Two.
Number two. To me.
It's not about that. It's not about that.
It's not about that.
We need you.
We need you
And me
and me
to walk in.
to walk in
This new chapter.
this new chapter.
Amen. Give God praise. Amen. Y'all may be seated. A new chapter. I'm extra hyped today. For lots of different reasons. Had some snow days. Binging on Netflix in Jesus' name. I was seasons, okay? You like, you going somewhere today? I was like, yeah, to the kitchen.
Amen.
God bless God. But anyway, a new chapter. Look at that and say, it's time.
It's time.
To embrace newness. Even before you physically walk into a new reality, your mind has to be ready for it. If you think about it, there are times in each of our lives where we've walked into new situations with an old mindset and wasn't really ready. Or you've had people come into your life, your new life, with their old mindset. You're like, right? And so it's important that you really believe in the 2018 mentality, the 2018 state of mind. That's real. Every year is like that. You have to be on task with what this year is supposed to produce in your life. And let me tell you, a year is not a long time. It's 365 days, and we already made a dent in it. And so you blink and 30 days are gone. You blink, the summer will be here, halfway point. And so I'm trying to tell you, how you start a thing will determine how it ends. And if you start off lackadaisical, you'll be up in here and after Thanksgiving talking about New Year's resolutions for 2018. When it's time to start shifting for what? The next year, right? And so what I'm saying to you is really grab hold of this idea. Just like if you ever read a book and you open up to a brand new chapter, who wants to read the last chapter again on new pages? So look at them and say, be ready for something new. So let's jump into it. I'm a person of definition. And what does these words mean? I always look it up because you need a revelation and a life application. New means not existing before, made, introduced, or discovered recently or now for the first time. Look at your neighbor and say, what is God doing in your life right now? Because we got to stop hanging on to stuff with expiration dates that have passed. We need to know what is he doing right now. The Bible says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. What is he doing now? That means you, look at them and say, you got to be present in the moment. When the Bible says, you have not because you ask not. Because you weren't in the moment. You didn't know the moment that you should have been asking. In order to find, you have to seek first. But all of these things take place in a moment, which means that you have to discern the times. That means that you have to be able to interpret what season in your life you're in right now and what people need to be there and need to be gone. And so it's important for you to understand that there is something that you've not experienced. There is something you must discover, and you must look at this in all areas of your life. You should discover something new about how to handle your finances. You should discover something new about how to deal with family situations, good or bad. You should discover something new about friendship and companionship, right? There should be a new level every time that you walk into a new season of your life. No area of your life should fall short. And this is what I mean. growing in one area doesn't cover another. We're on a college campus. How many of us know you could pass, liberal arts all day? You don't pass that sociology 101 or psych 101, graduation's not happening, right? So what I'm saying is, just because you've been doing good in one area, that don't cover the other areas. To bring it more to the point, some of you may be on task with your friendships, but your relationship thing is sloppy. Some of you be on task with your relationship, but your financial understanding is ridiculous. You follow what I'm saying? Look at them and say, you got to grow in every area. And so that's the mentality you got to do. You can't settle for where you are, even if you're doing good in a certain area. Don't settle for that. Because that just means that there's a whole lot more excellence, a whole lot more ground to cover. You're capable of even greater heights. And sometimes we get lazy because of certain things that we've been doing well and doing long. But it's like, no, you can't settle for that. You don't compare yourself to others around you. You compare yourself to what your potential is. I'm going to say that again. You don't compare yourself to others around you. Why is that important? Because why do something new? Look, if I'm representing in a certain part of my life better than all the other people I know, where's your motivation and where's the encouragement? Like, let's say you're trying to grow spiritually. You're like, I'm trying to pray more, grow more. Your friendship circle, if they go to church once a month, it's time to shop for them. That can't be your standard. You follow what I'm saying? Your standard can't be, I'm only cussing a couple times a day now. How? Right? Where are your standards? You follow what I'm being real with you. Like sometimes you dummy down to the people that you spend a lot of time with. Which means that you're not being motivated to reach the higher heights. So you think for a moment, I'm doing good. You're doing good in comparison to them, but compared to what God made you to be, you're not doing all that swell. Does that make sense? Remember, the Bible says he knew you before, when you was a seed in your mother's womb, he knew you. So you gotta constantly be comparing yourself to the vision that God had, even before you cross the earthly terrain from it. All right, chapter, a period of time or an episode, and I saw many episodes over the break, right? A period of time or an episode in a person's life, a nation's history, a series of, or a sequence. And you gotta ask yourself, listen, when you watch a movie, and something happens, and instinctively oh, this right here gonna cause some other stuff to go down, right? Like I'm a big fan of the John Wick movie. I don't know if you ever seen that. With Keanu Reeves. I don't know if I said his first name right, but when they killed his dog, Joe's car, it's like, okay, we know this is gonna matter, right? We're gonna see more of this, right? And so he ends up going crazy. So what I'm saying to you is, you gotta look at your life and ask yourself, what sequences have you been kicking off in 2018? You got to be mindful. Do you really need to have that conversation with that person? Do you really need to say that? Do you really need to go there? Do you really need to engage in this? Because whatever you do is going to set off a sequence. And you need to know ahead of time that you're only setting off sequences you actually want to have a future in. You follow what I'm saying? Now, we can't avoid everything, but that you can, you need to be careful. Because your emotions will cause you to kick off sequences that you were never even supposed to be in. So be careful. All right, let's go into it. John 12 and 24 is where we kick off the first scripture today. And this is Jesus talking. And he says, verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone, but if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. This is deep because what was happening is Jesus came primarily to preach to the Hebrews or the Jews to lay the foundation of the gospel that would go forward. But at this particular time, there are Greeks that have been hearing about it. They're like, yo, we want to get put on too, G. We know what's up. And so what ends up happening is, I think they end up talking to one particular person who tells Andrew, one of the disciples, and Andrew goes back and tells Jesus. And this is Jesus' response to that situation. And he says something I want you to grab hold of for this year, to keep this year off right. He says, verily, verily, I say unto you, except the corn of wheat fall into the ground. Look at them and say, they're talking about planting. And I've said this before. You can't have crops without a seed. And a seed can't grow unless it's buried in the ground, in fertile ground. And a seed being buried in the ground is symbolism for death, right? And so I want you to understand that a lot of times when we're crying for something new in our lives, we're not really processing that for something new to sprout up in your life, then something has to die to do so. Are y'all hearing me? In order for there to be new fruit and vegetables, a seed has to go down deep. And if it's going to grow anything, it's got to go deep enough. Look at me and say, are you deep enough in God? See, the reality is the shallowness of 2017 won't grow a thing in 2018. And so you got to make up your mind, what is it in my life that I have been keeping alive that probably just needs to die? Right? Now I'm going to use myself as an example. I am an extreme foodie. Right? I love food to no end. Let's be clear. Is it gluttony? Yes. Pray for it. Right? And so, and I was notorious. Like, I was known. When I came to a family event, they knew, you better get yours before JoJo shows up. That's my family nickname. Please don't repeat that, please, right? And not only did I do that, but I was proud of it. No shame in the game. You know what we came to do, right? But when I had that conversation with my doctor telling me I need to get healthy, that had to die. Put it like this. Did the thoughts die? No. The behavior had to die. I at least had to kill something. And what eventually ended up happening, I had to kill that part of me that didn't know how to say no to the second, third, fourth, fifth plate. And so what I'm just giving you an example. In other words, for my health to blossom, my lack of self-control to eat had to die. Y'all see the connection? I'm telling you, what have you not allowed to be buried at the top of this year? And what is it that you know you need to bury? And you even say and declare, I need to kill this. But then emotions get in the way. Thoughts get in the, maybe give me one more chance. Give me. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, we up in February. Ow. Right? And it's like, oh, I should have killed this. Okay. After the gifts. I always tell people, better end this before the holidays come. You're like after Christmas, after New Year's, after Valentine's. What I'm saying to you is, as long as you keep this living, something else will never manifest in your life. You can sit up there and make excuses and try to point all the fingers, but the culprit is you. Because you are the farmer of this land called life that God called you to till and to grow and prosper from. So it is your responsibility to handle your business. So unless something dies, what does it say? It says, unless a wheat falls to the ground and dies, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. My first point, watch this. Sometimes you are lonely because you are keeping something on life support that should have died a long time ago. Sometimes our loneliness is a product of the fact that the reason why what you need hasn't come to meet you yet, because what needs to die, you still is giving mouth to mouth and trying to keep it going. You need to cut this off. And so what ends up happening is a lot of times, and I'm telling you from experience, and I'm not talking about just relationships right now. There are certain behaviors, thoughts, and connections, and habits. Let's just take it out of the realm of people. Some of us have habits that need to break. Because habits are triggers for something else. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that it ain't the problem, but it always connects you to your problems. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's just certain things, if you do that, certain places you go, it ain't the problem, but it's going to bring you to that problem. And so you got to say to yourself, I got to get rid of this. Sometimes we're feeling lonely because there's something that we're supposed to have in our life that's lacking. And God is saying, if you could get over your fear of being by yourself and let go, then I can provide what you need. But you got to first get rid of what you were foolish enough to want. Y'all understand? And you'll find out that everything that you've been seeking has been just waiting on one decision. You can't grab something new until you let go of what's old. Go to the next, watch this. So our next scripture, coming out of Ezekiel. I love his name. Ezekiel 36, 25 through 27. It says, then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness. Look at your neighbor and say, you been filthy.
You've been filthy.
And from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. Ezekiel is a prophet in the Old Testament who's talking to a people of Israel that have completely faded away from walking with God. And he's telling them what they need to do to get their relationship back with God and get their purpose in their life fulfilled. And he tells them something. He says, then will I sprinkle clean water upon you. Look at him and say, you need to get cleaned up.
You need to get cleaned up.
Now I'm going to make an announcement. Some members of the church have been asking me about a baptism. There was a time when RTD used to do a baptism every year. Some of you have been here a long time, like, Pastor, I've never seen that. It's been a long time. But I'll make an announcement about when we're going to do the next one. It'll be soon. But a baptism is very symbolic because you need to be purged and cleansed. You need a spiritual detox, right? And it allows you to begin to start over. He says here, I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and it says, from all your filthiness and from your idols will I cleanse you. Now some of you say, I ain't got no idols. You see that? You felt it. What is an idol? An idol is something that you worship. And somebody's like, I wish I know about that. It's always everybody. That's how you know they're wrong too. And it's anytime I'm like, whatever comes next is a lie. Because we're not talking about you going and bowing down, to some crazy looking, thing. An idol is simply something that you put before what God has commanded and called you to do. It's as simple as that. And when you put it that way, oh yes, we all have some idols. Because we know there's certain things that we'll engage in that we know the Lord is not co-signing. But we do it anyway. Look at me like, that's an idol.
That's an idol.
And so the Ezekiel is letting you know, some things are deeper than just trying to do it. Trying to do better. Look at them and say, you need to be cleansed.
You need to be cleansed.
There's a difference between somebody changing their diet and somebody detoxing. Watch this. Looking at it from a natural standpoint. Somebody changing their diet, first of all, is awesome. But guess what? All the junk and mess that got into their body yet remains. So that means that yes, you did well to move forward, doing something new, but we have not flushed out of you what the nonsense and pollution that you have accumulated before you made such decision. And so in other words, for a moment, you got the new mixing with the old. Are y'all hearing me today? So what I'm saying to you is that a baptism, this is what a fast is for. A fast is about, I got old thoughts, I got old ideas, and I've got old habits that I need to break away from. And in order to break away from them, I got to decrease my flesh and my inability to control my decisions and choices so that I can let the God have a louder voice than my emotions. And once I do that, a fast successfully, you come out with a greater spiritual strength. And now you can resist things you used to couldn't resist. You can now say no when you used to say yes. You can now walk away when you used to cut a fool. And so this is important. And what he's saying is, I need to cleanse you. Some of us, yes, not only do you need a new beginning, but you need to get cleansed. Some of us got some grudges that we need to get purged. Some of us still got some folks we don't need to run into. Can I get an amen? It's like, you like, I love Jesus, bud. If you still got a butt, then you need a cleanse. A new heart also will I give you in a new spirit. A new heart. The heart is the seat of your emotions. This can never be overstated. Your emotions are powerful because they can make something that's not real appear real. Because perception is reality. When people say perception is reality, they're talking about how they feel. Because once you feel, look, if you go to see a horror flick, you come home and see anything that sounds like that, think about it. This is the same house you just left. You had no issues all year. After going to see this now, what's that noise? You've been hearing this noise all year, but now it means something. But your emotions make that action real. What I'm saying to you is, don't go through 2018 hyped up on something that's not real. So I'm trying to tell you that you need to be, your heart, a new heart means that you need God to give you a new way to process how to deal with things in your life. A new heart means a new mechanism. You're starting from scratch. See, some of us, we still got too many old conversations, old situations, old songs, old photos, old feelings in that old heart of yours. Look at it. Go cop a new one. Some stuff you just need to get. You ever have a favorite item or something at the house? It could be clothes and you wear it. That's why I was like, let's get a new one. They're selling them, right? You just think that it's over with. The heels is like looking like this. Right? Church like you just can't come as I am. But it's like, okay, like back in the day, I'm telling you my age, I used to have these Carl Knives. Oh my gosh, it was a bomb. Carl Knives, I don't even know what I'm talking about. See, the 90s cool, right? It was some dope boots back in the day, and I wore them to no end. It was black home. But then it got so, you know it's time to change up when you're both with your friends like, yeah. When you get those? Shots fired. Right? It says, take away the stony heart. This is important. Some of us, right, you got hardness in your heart. Because you've been hurt, you've been wounded, you've been betrayed. And let me tell you something. The classic case that you're not straight, I don't need nobody. You see all that? That's not the movement of somebody that's delivered. If that's deliverance, I want to see you when you're demon possessed. No. A stony heart, watch this. Because listen, because you're human, emotions are going to come out. You can talk all that. I ain't giving nobody. I don't love them. Well, you can say whatever you want. I mean, listen to some of this music out right now. Listen. I love music, all music. But some of these brothers on the R&B, I'm like, who hurt you? I listen to August Alsina, No Love, and I'm like, dude, you got me angry. What happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, it is just like the level of pain, and we always talk, I don't love him, I don't love him. But the reality, the truth is that shouting, I don't love him, you're really, when we interpret it, you're hurt and you want love. You can say whatever you want. I'm done. Clean up. I'm done. No, because we're human. Everybody wants companionship. That roughness. Some of I don't need family. Some of y'all got issues with your family. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to have issues with family and you go into the family together. You just trying to act right. For me, my mom wouldn't say me. You know, my mom, I wasn't going to act. I act a fool any other time. My mom there, oh, I chill. Now my mom has passed away, so pray for me. But I'm just saying that God had to deal with me and say, you have stones in your heart. Even you can't even live a fulfilling and love your life. You realize we think we're not affecting ourselves, we're just curbing other people, but in reality, you're curbing your own peace of mind. You're curbing your own excitement, and you're curbing the natural magnetism that love uses to draw people into your life. The longer you stay angry with somebody, the longer you repel the people God is trying to get to you. So remember that the next time you hold a grudge, right? Last. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk according to my statutes. Right? What I'm saying about a new spirit means like you go from feeling like this when you pray to now you feel like this. You follow what I'm saying? you feel a distinct difference that you and God have gotten closer. Like, Lord, and this is what trials and tribulations will do. Is that you go through a period where you feel like you all by yourself. Some of that God has anointed because he's tightening your relationship. So that in the future, when you run into something again, you'll remember that he has always been there. And so when he says a new spirit, this is what the cleanse is for. Some of us got so much in our spirit that's not God. That's why even when you fast, a lot of times you didn't fast from music. It's hard to keep certain things out of your mind if you're listening to certain songs. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be listening to, you can't keep. It's not going to help you get to Jesus. Okay? Like what I'm saying to you is that, sometimes we got stuff flooding in our spirit that's contradictory to what you're actually trying to get out of life. Which brings me to this. Watch this. The proper antidote for a mental and emotional hangover is a spiritual makeover. You got to make up in your mind, Lord, I need you to make me over. Beautiful songs with a powerful message that really speaks to the heart of walking in a new chapter for 2018. Lord, when you say, Lord, make me over, when somebody comes and do a true makeover, you can't hide and block certain stuff off. Makeover means you got to give them access to all of it. And some of us have been coming to church with the halfway testimonies, the halfway breakthroughs, and leaving here halfway delivered. You got to go to God and say, Lord, from the top to the bottom and over, you say from the rooter to the tutter. At least you say, I don't know, I want to see a vision of what that is. But anyway, you need God to handle it all. And let me tell you something. Sometimes in this world, and even social media has done this to a certain extent, we're so busy trying to make sure we never get caught slipping that you never ever entertain the real you. Because you're always making sure you fresh to death. You know what I mean? Or looking tight. But it's like, no. You really need to let God see all of it. And have a situation where you don't care who sees. Because what you need from God has to be bigger than people's interpretation of what's happening in your life. And so it's time to have that's why the Bible says thirst for righteousness. That means that, listen, we're all human. We're cognizant of what other people think. And I ain't telling you to go out here and just air your dirty laundry like you ain't got no kind of filter. But what I'm saying to you is that you should be more on task and on a mission for God to purge you and to cleanse you. And your desire to be in God's will got to be bigger than being on somebody's likes list. If you never like me, I know who loves me. And that's all I'm concerned about. That has to be primary in your life. Because in the end, that's the only people folks respect anyway. Do you realize that people usually respect you more when you no longer consider their opinion important enough for your decision? He told me to say it again. But it's true. When people realize that you're going to do what you need to do for you, regardless of what they feel about it, now they respect you. But as long as you chase like, do you like this? Do you like that? There's something about that they will never, ever respect you. That's why they have to respect Jesus in the midst of it all. Jesus, we're not supposed to do that on the Sabbath. He's like, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Heal him. Right? And that's what people like, yo, he just. So don't think everybody follow Jesus because, oh God, Jesus. Some of us like, oh, this dude showing that. Let's see what he's going to do next. You know what I'm saying? Some people come for that. And I'm telling you that in 2018, get free of what other people are going to say and what other people are going to do. Look at them and say, I need God to make me over.
To make me over.
Let's go to the next one. Isaiah 61, 2-3. To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. This is awesome. So check this out. It says to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. Look at your neighbor and say, you need to proclaim that for this year. When we talk about speaking those things that are not as though they were, you need to start declaring. Stop waiting for somebody to prophesy to you when the person in the mirror is like, yo, let's go. You need to begin to say, oh, this is the acceptable year of the Lord. This is the year the salary's about to jump 20 G's.
Look, I received that.
Somebody come. This is the year where my finance get cleaned up. This is the year where my health gets cleaned up. This is the year where certain people that need to get out, move out. Somebody started shouting. But this got to be the year. When it says acceptable year, that means everything that God has put in motion takes place. That's what acceptable year of the Lord. It's when God starts shining. Then you got to believe that this is, but here's the key is you have to believe that it's the acceptable year of the Lord. We can't be in March trying to get convinced. Oh, is this the year God? Man, we established in January that this is it. What's it? What up? And the day of vengeance of our God. The Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Now let me tell you something. Pastor Graham struggles with this. Because I come from a place in Jersey. You can't let people get one over. But I had that Holy Ghost delay. I'll tell you all about it, where something goes down, and for some reason the Holy Ghost was on. And somebody says something crazy out the box, and usually in your normal flesh self, oh, it's on and popping. But for whatever reason, you didn't hear it, or you just was happy, or something, like you were just in another state of mind. And it's like, after you come out of it, like a few minutes later, I'm like, hold up, what that sound? You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I don't know why God does this to me. I'm classic for driving away, and then it'll come to me. I said, hold up. But God will always have somebody present. Because we got to thank God for our ride or die. You know what I'm saying? I have somebody, I'm like, and I'll say to them, like, yo, did they say such and such? And why, you know what's good about it? When God brings people in your life, they know you. Oh, come on, y'all know what I'm saying. Like, I have been in a situation, and they knew. Like, at the time it was happening, when I was in some, like, Holy Ghost days, they knew what was going on. And they were thinking, Jesus. Like, look at my see there. So they know, and if you have a good friend, they know you enough to know your Holy Ghost delay. Right? So they know it's coming. So I'll be driving to me. When I'm in the car, I'm like, loving music, and I'm like, hold up. I be like, it was good. Is that what? That was. Did they say? See, this will make you angry when you deal with your friends. They know what you asked. That would, sir. We might have heard some things. I'm like, no, don't get deep now. Don't get what? And I say, listen to me. What was said? Oh. But that is God protecting you. Listen, you can't move on if you don't let God take the vengeance out of your hands. Because while you're busy using energy for vengeance, you're supposed to be using that energy for purpose. And also, and I often said this, when you take revenge, you actually are stealing God's property. Think about it from a ownership perspective. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So he done made it. He didn't ask who did it, how it happened. He made it plain. If there's vengeance to get got, that's mine. So when you take out revenge, when God shows up, he got to deal with you as a thief before he can deal with who offended you. You up there like, they said such and he's like, hold up, you got my stuff. You're like, what? Hey, run them pockets where that vengeance at. You cut somebody out, you smack somebody, that was vengeance. Give me my stuff. But Jesus, they hurt me. You stole from me. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Look at them and say, don't steal God's property. But the other thing is you need to be liberated that God cares enough about you to handle the folks that's coming against you. How is God going to get the glory if you keep defending yourself all the time? Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't talking about people walking over you. I'm talking about you not allowing your time and energy and resources to be wasted on someone that God already put a number out on. Because God is more interested in you fulfilling your purpose than you are. So trust and believe He's not going to allow distractions to just be out there. He's going to handle His business. He just needs you to handle yours. Remember? You know what I mean? He's the author and what? He just needs you to handle the middle. Bless you. What's this? To a point, to them that mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes. This is so awesome. When you think about ashes, it's something that has blessed you again. Right? There's anointing over here. Is ashes are what is left when things get burned down. I want you to just see how powerful God is. Where stuff that the world laughs at, thinks is messed up, destroyed, God sees something else. The world's looking at ashes, we're looking at burnt up stuff, and He says beauty. He says, bring me your ashes. I'm going to trade what I think is just as equal. And He gives you beauty for your ashes. That means ashes means stuff has been burnt down. Pain has been ensued. God's saying, bring that to me. I got something beautiful for you. So the next time something hurts you, breaks you, you need to be starting making a list of how much beautiful things God got to give you. It says here, the oil of joy for mourning. That means things that happened in your life that caused you to cry, that broke your spirit. I often talk openly to y'all about the loss of my mom and dad. Sometimes that thing will grip me so hard and I can't shake it. But then I remember this scripture. He says, I'll give you the oil of joy. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how good God is. A person I graduated with, I got a master's program, from a master's program with. No, we got a master's together. But anyway, her and her husband invited me over. It was like a birthday / Christmas party. Went there, and they playing all these kind of games, as men versus women. So we was all, the guys, right? But then they played a classic game that I love. Everybody know what I'm talking about. Spades. Now we do know you got to make sure you rededicate to Christ before you play spades. And I love the game. But let me tell you something. You could be in mourning and don't even realize how long you're in mourning. And this is how I came to the revelation. There's a lot of things I love to do. I ain't done in a minute.